Hello. Today I am doing a collab with many people. They're going to be listed down in my description. But Roy Greene invited me to do a Dessertember, and so that's what I'm doing today. We were to pick out a favorite cookie recipe. So my favorite cookie recipe is my Meema PB2 peanut butter cookies. And I'm always on the lookout to find something that is low in points. I mean, it's almost like a game to me that I enjoy doing it. And so that's what I've been doing off and on for almost 9 years now. I lost the majority of my weight in 2014, and I've kept the majority of it off for all these years. Well, I actually am a little bit less than I was in 2014. So I'm always on the lookout for low pointed foods, and that includes desserts. So I hope you'll enjoy my Meema PB2 peanut butter cookies. I'm going to go over the ingredients, and I hope you can follow what I'm saying. I'm not the best videographer doing cook with me, so please be patient with me. But we start off with the main ingredient, and it is the PB2 powdered peanut butter, and I have a cup of that. I'm going to do the dry ingredients first. I have a half a cup of the Monk Fruit Blend no calorie sweetener, and you use that in the same quantity that you would if I was using real sugar. So if you wanted to use real sugar, you could use a half a cup. And before I get any farther, I found this recipe originally off of a website called This Unmillennial Life, but I have tweaked it quite a bit, the amounts, and I actually have substituted one ingredient. So I will explain the one that I substituted, because it actually originally called for oil, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. So let's go on with the dry ingredients. I've got a half of teaspoon of salt, a half of teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda, but baking powder, and a tablespoon of flaxseed meal. Now I use Bob's. It's called Bob's Red Meal Flaxseed Meal, and I really like it. It is a great source of fiber and also has omega-3, and I need all the omega-3 that I can. That's all the dry ingredients. Now, the wet ingredients are a large egg, slightly beaten, a third of a cup of applesauce. Now, the applesauce is the substituted ingredient. The original recipe called for a third of a cup of oil, and I substituted a third a cup of unsweetened or no sugar added Mott's applesauce. And it comes in a little container like this. You can get it in a jar, but it also comes in a container like this. And once you strain it, which that's what I've done right here, I strained it for about 10-15 minutes. And once it was strained, it came out right at a third of a cup. So that's perfect for me. And then we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And yes, I do use pure vanilla extract. I don't use the imitation kind. I've always used this, so why change? So that's all of the ingredients. They're not hard to find. The hardest thing I had to find was the flaxseed meal, but I found it. I found it at my local grocery store. Now we're gonna get started, and we're gonna do all of the dry ingredients first. And the main ingredient, which is the PB2, needs to be put in first. And the reason I say that is it has a tendency to have a lot of lumps and bumps. So we're going to put that in there. Put that cup thing over there. Now we're going to, we'll do this every time we add a dry ingredient. You'll see me go in there and really try to break up all of the lumps and bumps. And the main reason I do is the cookies have a tendency to be a little grainy, and this will cut down on the graininess if you'll just get the lumps and bumps out of this PB2. Now I add the 1/2 cup of the monk fruit blend. And once again, here I'm gonna stir it up really good. I hope I'm getting this on camera. I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not very adept when it comes to filming and cooking at the same time. So just bear with me. If things don't work out, then I'll probably be making this same recipe again tomorrow. I was really excited when Roy asked me to participate in this collab. I have never done a collab before, so I was excited to do it. Now, our next dry ingredient is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, that is more than what the original recipe called for, but to me, PB2 has always been a little bland. And I always, when I make it just to put on a sandwich or a dip or something like that, I still add salt to it. I think now it actually says add a little bit, but I've done it since day one because it is just a little bland. And here I'm stirring that in. And then we've got the baking powder. Baking powder, remember, it's not soda, it's baking powder. And then it goes in. And you'll notice I'm stirring it up again, trying to keep those lumps and bumps out and also incorporate all these dry ingredients together. The last dry ingredient is the tablespoon of flaxseed meal. That's a tongue twister for me, but that's okay. I had never used this to cook with. I found it recently and really like it. And I need all the fiber I can get. And then once again, we're gonna stir it up really good. And we're just about ready to put the wet ingredients in with this dry ingredients. First, we have the slightly beaten large egg. There it goes. Okay. Next, I'm going to do it a little different than I normally do just because I may have a little problem with this applesauce, but I'm going to put the teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then after those two wet ingredients, I'm going to start stirring it up some to get that egg incorporated into the dry ingredients. I just really want to work everything up really good. I still got the juice from the applesauce that I strained earlier. And I've kept it on purpose in case I need it. And you'll understand here in a few minutes. Let's see how hard or easy it is to get this applesauce out. Because now that it is completely drained, strained, whatever you want to call it, it is not quite as easy to get out of the cup, but it came out pretty good. I'm going to get the strained apple juice right here just in case I need it, because I may. That's the thing about this, is you will have to make it, and the more you make it, the better you'll learn how to what ingredients you end up needing. And the big thing that I continued to have a lot of problems with was, if you're not careful, it is too runny. The batter, it's very, very easy to put too much liquid in it. The first few times I made this years ago, it was always pretty runny. Now, I could figure out a way to fix the batter, and as years have gone by, this is how I've learned to do it. Now, I'm just gonna do, like, I've got a little teaspoon here. I'm just gonna do a couple of teaspoons of this, because if you just add the applesauce, it makes it way too runny if you don't strain the applesauce first. I mean, it's beginning to come up to, I'm sure you cannot see it, but it's beginning to come up to a sort of a batter. Oh, that was another thing I was going to mention. In the original recipe, it calls to get your hand mixer out and to use it, but I have been preparing icing, homemade icing, and a lot of things that I had to mix up for years and years for my kids for their birthday cakes, and I just prefer hand mixing. So if you want to use a hand mixer, then you just do it pretty much on low to medium. Now, I put 2 teaspoons in a while ago. I'm fixing to put another one, or I just put another one. And this is just how I'm incorporating all the ingredients. And it is, I get a good workout, but that's okay. I need the exercise anyway. Just a little bit more like a batter consistency. So 1 more teaspoon will probably be enough. I hope it's not too much, because I can't tell you how many times that I've been making it, and then all of a sudden it's very runny. It's not batter consistency. And so I've had to add something to it. And normally what I do when that happens is I add just a little bit more of the PB2. Because as you notice, this recipe does not have flour in it. The PB2 pretty much takes up the position of what flour would if you were doing a conventional recipe. All right, now, as you can see, it's about the consistency of a thick batter. Now, this is what we do. I've got a parchment lined cookie sheet. I forgot to mention that I needed to preheat my little countertop oven at 350. And I have a countertop oven that I love to use. It's a convection countertop oven, and I got it a couple of years ago from QVC, and I use it 10 times the amount of time that I do my regular conventional oven. Okay, now here we go. You get what I call a soup spoon. It calls for a teaspoon, but with my inexpertise, since I'm not an expert in cooking, it's easier for me just to take a soup spoon. I do not fill it all the way, and then just do a circle. Make about I guess it's about a 2-inch circle. And what I normally do also, I will say this doesn't rise like it would if it had flour in it. So you have to be prepared that it's not going to. Now, I'm putting this on a parchment lined cookie sheet. And one of the biggest problems I had early on, this is going to sound awfully odd, I know, but I had so much trouble getting the parchment paper to stay down. It kept wanting to get up. And so a quick little pointer about that is if you start having that same problem where it just wants to roll up on you, I put just a little bit of shortening in all 4 corners and then pressed it down. I put the shortening directly on the cookie sheet. Now this cookie sheet is a little odd too, but because I'm using my countertop oven, I can't use a large conventional cookie sheet. So I've had to sort of compromise on that, but I've been doing this, been using this pan for, oh goodness, as long as I've had the countertop oven, it came with it. So I've learned to use it like a cookie sheet, even though you might not call this a cookie sheet. I've learned to use it like one. Now, depending on the consistency of the batter, this is going to make somewhere around 15 to 18 cookies. And I will share the information, the calories, and the points involved in it after I get through cooking it. When you can see the deliciousness of the cookie. But this batter is a little thicker than the last time I made it, so it possibly may not even make 15 cookies. I never really know. The original recipe said it would make 12, and now mine has always made more than 12, but it doesn't make much more than 12. Okay, I'm just gonna go back and add a little bit to some of these. Okay, now we've got the cookies ready to be put in a 350-degree oven. And I'm gonna cook them somewhere between, I would say, 10 and 12 minutes per batch. And I'll look at them, and when they are set well, that's when I'll get them out. I'll let you know once I get them out. I'm probably gonna try to take a picture or give you a view of what the inside of this little oven looks like, because it's so cute. I love it, but bear with me. Here's the little countertop oven that I was talking about. I've just put the peanut butter cookies, or PB2 peanut butter cookies, in the oven. With it being convection, I do have to watch it a little closer, but it's not hard to do, so I do it. I'll be back after they have cooked. Well, I just got the cookies out. Oh, they look good. Or they do to me anyway. They smell very good too. Now these cookies, there's 2 or 3 things that I guess I need to explain about these cookies. They are not going to be the same consistency as a normal flour-based cookie, but they're so good that doesn't matter. Now these did cook for almost 12 minutes. Now you have to be real careful what I'm about to do, because if you don't, you're gonna burn yourself. But I picked this up by each side, little corner, and we're gonna see if I can get it up without burning my hands, because I don't want it to cook. It would cook a little longer. I'm gonna put it on a cookie rack here. And if I didn't move that off of this cookie sheet, it would continue to cook some. Now, normally I make up the rest of the cookies. Today, I'm gonna stop with just those 12. And there's a method to my madness. Now, we're gonna cross our fingers and we're gonna see if I can get these off this parchment. Sometimes it comes off really easy. Oh, that one did. And sometimes it doesn't. So far, so good, because I'm going to move this parchment paper back over where the cookie sheet was and gradually move these to the cooling rack, because these cookies, they're a little harder than I used to make a lot of cookies when my children were young, And they were just throw them in the oven and the kids can eat them before I get ready for them too. But these are a little bit more detailed of some of the things I have to do, but that's okay. I don't make cookies very often. I do make desserts, but I just don't make cookies. And while I'm thinking about it, I said the wrong thing at the first of this video. Roy invited me to do Dessertember cookie swap. So I don't know exactly how I said that at the first of this video, but it's Dessertember cookie swap. And Roy is so kind. I watch his channel all the time. He makes wonderful foods that I could only wish that I could do. But here we have the cookies, and they're going to be on the drain rack for about 5 minutes. And then I'll come back and catch you up on where I am. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. And I'm going to take these cookies off. I'm picking them up with my hands, but I promise my hands are clean. And I'm going to put all 12 of them over here. Now, these cookies would taste wonderful right now, but I let them continue to cool, and the longer you do that, the better they get. And I have found, right to begin with, I would put it in the refrigerator to see if that helped it, and it really didn't. And now I just sort of let them sit here for a couple of hours. Now, sometimes that is really hard to not try and eat them, but I try my best not to. And so what I do for a couple of hours, I'll just put them on a plate and then put a dish towel on them. If you want to get a little Christmas one, that's good. If you don't, that's okay too. And I'm going to let them sit for the rest of the time, and then in 2 hours, whoever's here, maybe just me, but that's all right. Now, I do want to say that these cookies, a serving is 2 cookies, and 2 cookies is 1 point, 1 Weight Watcher point. Now, that is a big winner for me. And they're also 111 calories. Now, I don't figure all the other nutritional facts about cookies and such, but it is 110 calories for 2 cookies and 1 Weight Watcher point. So if you would like to make these, the instructions, the ingredients, the directions, everything is down in the description box. Also, all these other people that are doing the collab, they're listed down in there, and a link to all of their channels. I hope you'll check them out, especially Roy. If you have never watched Roy doing his recipes with Roy, you need to do it, because he's very talented, and he's a home cook, I think. I've never heard him say whether he had culinary training or not, but he's very good. So I want to thank Roy one last time, and I look forward to seeing everybody else's cookie recipes. Some are going to be good Christmas cookies. So whether you're watching your weight or just watching the time go by, I think you'll like this cookie swap. I did want to share one more thing. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I hope you will consider subscribing and press that notification bell so you'll get all my videos. I do a lot of weight-related videos, encouragement, information, and I do it from my experience. It's like I said earlier, I am more than 90 pounds lost. In 2014, I started at 213 pounds. I weighed the other day and I weighed 121. So I hope that you'll get some benefit from my channel. So please consider subscribing. Comment below. I want to know if these cookies, if you think you'd like to try them, because they are not always easy. You have to sort of tweak them sometimes, but they're always delicious. And as I always say at the end of my videos, if you know anyone that would benefit from this video or any of my videos, please share. Until next time, goodbye.